So, do you see everybody else? Guys, where else we gonna go?
Just again. I gotta wait for the rest of these
So we moonlighting is Mrs. Honest today.
I think it's because she's locked into that.
Normally, like, I don't know about facial hair with women, but.
Yeah, you're good. If you need to come to speak, there's nothing you're supposed to. But I stopped it. If you need to see up.
You ready with one?
Oh, yeah, it's loud.
All right. I call to order. Is that mine?
Somebody, make sure everybody's off.
Looks like
That one's on this
Ms. Diaz is on.
one.
But I need to be on, or Hannah can't hear.
Well, whenever we,
Yeah,
when we begin, right?
right, so I turned it on, and that's when it did it. So I think you better,
But also the reverb is coming from here, so.
okay.
Testing it. No, still got
Just project.
We're just testing sound.
it. Yeah.
I think we're good. I think I'm the only one right now.
Okay.
We're good?
Yeah.
Okay. I call to order a special meeting of the Board of Trustees of Brackett ISD to be held on July 24, 2025, beginning at 6 p.m. We do have a quorum established. If everyone was to please rise for a moment of silence as the pledge is. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There are no public comments. I would like to move to closed session. Before we begin open session, due to an out-of-town attorney who is present, do I have a motion? So Matt makes a motion, do I have a second? No more seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor? Passes unanimous.
So while we're in closed session, if everybody will just may go to the main office, then we'll call you out when we're done.
Okay, we will reconvene back in open session at 7:49 p.m. I do have two motions to go over. I have a recommendation to hire Brandy Mann for DOI elementary teacher.
I make a motion to hire Brandon Mann.
Second. Claudia makes a motion, Matt seconds. All those in favor? Unanimous. And I also have a recommendation to move Gabby Garza from DOI to certified teacher.
I make a motion to move Ms. Garza from DOI to certified teacher.
Claudia makes a motion, Memo seconds. All those in favor? Unanimous. And congratulations to Ms. Garza. At this time, we'll be moving to item 3, consent agenda. Consent agenda is gonna have the meeting, or the previous meetings. And
Donation.
some donations. So Rio Grande Electric Co-op donated $100 for project graduation.
I'm sorry, but I know I don't usually have those ready to read out to you, but. And then the other one was for Brackett Cheer, the Brackett Cheer parents, Savannah Molinar. There was a donation of $1,057.07, and that was to be used for different cheer expenses for camp and competition. And then the third donation was from Jocelyn Lopez in the amount of $50.
Thank you for all the donations. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Claudia makes a motion. Do I have a second? Second. Matt seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous. Item 4.
So item 4 are our information items, so we'll start with 4A, the federal funding delay and impact to Texas schools. So this agenda was created for our regular July meeting, and then that one we canceled, which I want to thank y'all so much for canceling that, so I could be with my dad. At that time, we had received notice that there were lots of federal funds that were going to be cut. In working with Amalia, we were scheduled to lose probably about $300,000 because of the bill. And so one of the biggest ones was the Title IV Part B, the 21st Century Community Learners Grant, which is our ACE program. So that's our tutorials, the 4 to 6, the enrichment. And so we were already starting to plan what we were going to do and how we were going to do that. But I am very happy to report that we did receive notice that that grant has been taken off the table as a cut. And so we will have those funds. So if there is an impact, it will be minimal. But it does appear like we will be getting the federal dollars for this school year. So they told us it was urgent, you're not getting it, and then we got notice, okay, you are getting it. So federal funds for education are back on the table. 4B is good news, which I'm sure we're all like, let's hear some. So I applied for an instructional grant called Strong Foundations Planning. We did receive our notice of grant award, so we received a grant in the amount of $120,000. This grant is specifically for the use of strong foundations planning, so planning for instruction. And they basically look at our data and say you're eligible to apply for assistance in certain areas. And so I went ahead and applied for the area of math, secondary math, 6 through 12. So we will be partnering with one of the approved providers. So they give us a list of the approved providers. And working with Mr. Jimenez, the provider that we have selected to help us through this grant is Carnegie Learning. And so there's a sheet there that tells you just a little brief. It's just like their little intro of what Carnegie Learning is all about. And it's what they call a core math solution built for diverse thinkers. So helping close the gap, helping those that need acceleration, helping reach those higher level thinkers. We have some teachers who have already started to implement it, and they've actually really liked it. Miss Bruce, before she left, used it and spoke very highly of it. We have another teacher at the 6th grade who has used it and has done really well. In my conversations with Mr. Jimenez, he's been very pleased with the level of conversations and the levels of questioning that comes from using Carnegie. So we're excited to bring it on board for everybody. It will be implemented 6 through 12. The grant covers the curriculum itself, and it covers the provider to come and do coaching, to do modeling, to do professional development, to work with the administrator on how to provide effective feedback on the implementation. So it's the whole package. So we're really excited about being able to bring that to our district. 4C is the legislative updates. So y'all might remember when we went to SLI, all the updates that were passed. And so a different legal organization, Thompson and Horton, put this together and basically gave each of the new House bills, and then by the date we have to have a policy in place. So there are a number of laws that require us to adopt new policies. If you recall, we don't develop the language for policies. TASB does that for me, for districts. And so like we just adopted a few months ago, maybe policy update 125, where they provided us the language. So now we'll be waiting for policy update 126, which will cover all of these and we'll be able to adopt them. So these are the different things that will be coming most likely August 11th for us to officially adopt our policy. Safety and security projects. So I have been bringing you updates in phases. And so for the safety and security projects, we were at phase 3, which basically meant that on June 30th, we started the RFQ process. We posted it in Kinney County Post, we posted it in the Valley Leader News, we had it on our website where we were requesting bids. The bids closed at 2 p.m. on July 18th. Ms. Garza was here with Mrs. Ibanez, along with the company that we hired to help us through the process. And the bids were opened publicly on July 18th at 2:30 in the boardroom. The bids have now been ranked and tallied, and we have a meeting with GRE. We thought we might be able to bring a recommendation at this board meeting, but we still haven't had a chance to have that meeting with GRE to look at the actual costs and the point system that was used to determine how we would be awarding these bids. The bids came in pretty high. That's going to be another concern that we have. We do have the allotted security grant money, but we may need to restructure the projects just a little bit because there may not be enough funding. So going back and looking at what was required and what was recommended, and making sure that we fund the required and then maybe take a look at the recommended at a later date. So we should have something for the board on August 11th as well. Are we good? Keep going. 4E is the superintendent's evaluation formative update. So in July is my first formative update, which was kind of different because we redid the goals, right? So we redid the goals last month, and so we brought those back. So I apologize for that typo there. So now the goals have been rewritten on the document. They were revised and adopted on June 9th. We have all of those in place. And so my formative for this month, I decided to focus on goal 2, which was the human resource goal. And so if you open that sheet, it shows focusing on goal 2, human resources and teacher hiring. It said by closely monitoring the district's DOI program and the implementation of support services for non-certified teachers, the district will reduce the number of uncertified teachers to less than 10%. And so we wanted to make sure that we had a higher percentage of certified teachers. We had an increase in the completion of DOI. We would decrease or eliminate intern positions, and then we would grow the educational pathway. And we did start the GCU program, and we've got about 9 instructional aides who have joined that Grand Canyon University program to pursue a degree. So then I created a chart showing 23-24, 24-25, and 25-26, the total number of teachers we have in our district, the total number of non-degree, non-certified, those that would be considered interns, and for 25-26, we're at 0. And then the bachelor's degree or higher, so 100%, since we have no interns, now we are at 100% of all our teachers holding a degree. And then we're at 90% for certified, and I define certified as holding a Texas teaching certificate. Ms. Falcon did ask me at the last board meeting how many teachers we had that were teaching outside of their certification, and I wanted to share this with you first, but I do have a document that I will be sending to y'all through email that lists the teachers. It's 10 of them, okay? And then what I did on that list is it has their name, and then it has their certification, and then it has what they're teaching, and then we added a comment for basically like what supports being the district feeling comfortable them teaching outside of their certification. So I will give an example because I did visit with him, and that's Mr. Gonzalez. Okay, he is our music and theater teacher. Okay. So his degree is in music, okay? So his degree is in music, his certification is in music. He's teaching music and theater. Well, last year was his first year as an OEP director, and he was able to take students beyond area competition. So to me, that shows a level of competency in his knowledge of the theater, you know. So in the comment box that I'll share with you, you'll see basically some notes where I explained my feeling of their competency in being able to teach outside of their certification. So I will be sharing that document with you. It was just not uploaded for public information because it is personnel. And I do feel like after tonight's recommendation, we are fully staffed, so we probably won't see this change very much unless somebody leaves. You know, if a teacher leaves and we have to replace them, then that might change our numbers, you know, a little bit. But it looks like this is where we'll stand for 25-26.
Thank you for doing that.
You're very welcome. 4F is the student handbook, 4G is the employee handbook, and 4H is the dress code. So those 3 items, there is nothing uploaded yet. We did not get the verbiage back from TASB for the updates that need to be included in the handbooks, so we'll be bringing those 3 items back on August 11th. However, with the dress code, I think there was some minor wording changes, but nothing in regards to expectations changed. You know, it may have just been some wording changes for clarity, you know, for clarification. But those will come back on August 11th.
Since we're talking about dress code, because I witnessed it last year, not here, in another school. There was a young man walking around the stage wearing high heels. Maybe we get a little more clarification there as to what is allowed and what's not allowed regarding that. It was during a school event.
will ask legal to help me a little bit regarding that, in regards to, for lack of a better word at this time, gender appropriate. So how do we word things in, for that nature? Because right now, we don't have that. Now, I will say stilettos and high heels are not allowed. So it's my understanding, and Mr. Jimenez might want to clarify, I think that in our under shoes, it says no slippers, no stilettos.
For ladies, for young
It
girls.
just says, no,
No,
not,
no,
yeah,
It doesn't specify.
yeah.
Okay, that's why,
So I think we would be okay, because under our section of shoes, it says no slippers, no open-toed shoes, no flip-flops, no stilettos, no, so I think that we're covered, but I will make sure before.
And you witness the
I
same
did,
thing.
I witnessed the same thing, yes. 4I is actually Mr. Guzman, and he wanted to be able to provide us an update on his role as a Kinney County Appraisal District Board member.
Yes, ma'am, I wanted to bring this to the board's attention. What I'm gonna read already happened on May 6th of 2025, and what unfolded up to now. On May 6th, 2025, the board of the appraisal district passed a resolution. And I kind of regret now signing it, but I signed it anyway. And it reads, now therefore to be resolved, the board of directors of Kinney County Appraisal District, Kinney County, Texas, authorize the chief appraiser to retain the excess funds from the entity assessments in the 2023-24 Kinney County appraisal budget and designate $15,000 to contribute to the reimbursement required to repay the road adjoining Kinney County Appraisal District office, and to increase the payroll allotment of $22,320 for moving a part-time employee to a full-time employee in June 2025 for a total of $37,319. At the time when I participated in this, it wasn't clear to me, and I kind of regret now agreeing to it, because as simple as, I don't know if I'm gonna make it as simple as possible. The tax appraisal office had an excess of $37,000. Somewhere along the way, an agreement was made that I was not privy to until that day, that 15,000 of those monies would go to the county, and how, how they repay the streets in front of the appraisal office, kind of reimbursement for paving the street in front of the appraisal office. And then, of course, the remaining amount was going towards making somebody full-time, which was $22,000. What I found out was, and it took me 24 to 48 hours to think about it, was, well, the appraisal district had extra money. They raised their budget by 6 or 7%, but they used this money after they raised the rate, what they were going to collect. They collect the money from the entities. So I thought to myself, well, how do they have extra money? And how could we not have known that our fifth, which we're the entity, our fifth of the money, no, we weren't, and I asked Ms. Diaz a couple of days later, were you advised that the appraisal district was using the assessments they collected to pay the road in front of the appraisal district? And she said, no. So it became more strange to me. Now moving a little bit quicker, we called legal. And they said it was all fair and square. That they can use the excess money as they will at the end. And without giving notice to any of the entities what they're doing with the money. Now I suspect, because he was giving back $15,000 to the county, well, the county knew they're a taxing entity. I just don't know anybody else. And it wasn't me, it wasn't my role to go and investigate. So FYI, I had always understood, especially when I took on this road, that all the money collected from them goes back to the entities. So,
I was under the understanding, or have been, when there's excess funds, that the entities, the voting voting entities have to be notified of all the excess funding, and it has to be approved, that's how.
That's what we thought.
That's what we thought.
Uh-huh.
So that's, when Memo brought it to my attention, that's exactly what I thought. And so, but I said, that's not my area of expertise. So, while in my office, I told Memo, let's go ahead and call Hannah. Now, Hannah also told us that, property values and CAD is not her area of expertise. So she was gonna reach out to somebody else or ask somebody else, and then let us know that, that was something that, is allowable. That if there is excess funds, that as the appraisal board, they can decide with these excess funds, this is what they're gonna.
But I thought they were still required to notify you via notice.
Well, the attorneys told us they did, that's what we find more ironic, that they don't even give us a notice, they, by the way, we're gonna keep a fair 150 of your money, we're gonna do whatever we want with it. So, and at the same time, they increase their budget by 6 or 7%.
Yeah, now, I definitely do not mind, since it's on the agenda, like, emailing Hannah and saying, just for clarification, because this was brought up and discussed, in open session, Mr. Guzman gave us an update. Can you clarify again the process? And so maybe she can outline the steps for us. But she did give us a verbal where they didn't do anything wrong. They were in their right and did not have to provide us with notification. But I definitely can.
But the street in front of the appraisal district is big.
Yes.
So that's, that's where some of the money went to. And I said, well, 150 of that money, I'm sure we could have done something with it.
Could have paid our street.
Sir?
Could have paid our street.
Yeah.
Dirt.
So, anyway, I just wanted to make sure, I'm gonna try to do better.
Ain't so good, no?
The next items are all the department reports, so I'll just give y'all a few minutes to go through those, and the representatives from each department are here if you have any questions.
Mr. Jimenez, the San Angelo is going to be helping with the math program, correct? San Angelo University is going to be helping with the math program?
As for dual credit, if we do have a dual credit class, yes.
Okay, but not regular, the one Ms. Bruce taught?
No, we actually found a
Calculus?
we found a different program.
Okay, it's not gonna be that, okay.
It'll be proximity learning.
Correct.
Okay. Cafeteria, the children are gonna all get free meals?
Yes.
Here.
You notice in the maintenance facilities, mention of broken equipment. What kind of stuff are they seeing in that regard?
Mr. Solis?
Broken equipment?
Yeah, what kind of stuff are they seeing broken? Like tables and chairs?
Well, we was reported about the broken desk, for example.
Okay,
As far as equipment, just general maintenance on the lawnmowers.
okay.
And we are in a very good place in regards to desks, student desks and chairs. So if something is broken, we have extra. So we do not have to make purchases for extra desks. Right now, we have several that are in storage.
And then some of the broken desks and stuff have been repaired by Mike as well.
Thank you.
Yes, I'd like to, again, like I said, this would be a good time with the board here in public. I've been walking the track, and I had mentioned to you the issue of the pole vault mat and high jump mat, and I knew that there was some working out there. I've been out there this week, I haven't seen anybody working, but the mats are,
Still exposed.
yeah, they're gonna need someone to go with a needle and thread and fix them already.
I will double check with our athletic
You know.
director and our head.
I mean, and maybe that's, I don't know, maybe they're already worn out, I don't know.
That could be.
I mean, people, on any given night, anybody can go out there right now. They are not.
Stick with the direction.
The only question I have for you, Ms. Diaz, if I may, is in regards to the PIMS Center. I know that that is a very important data that we have to capture to ensure we're securing every single penny that's due to us. And I know there's been a lot of discussion about the PIMS and the money that we may be leaving on the table. I just want to make sure that our staff have the training and what they need to ensure that we're reporting everything adequately.
Yes, so we actually, and we have several safety nets, okay? So, so we have a sender, okay, and from a sender we can pull reports. And then we also have a program that we call On Data Suites that we purchased through Region 20, which will then look at our sender data and say, okay, check this, you know, where this looks off. Then we have TSDS that also, when Ms. Bettis works on something, that will tell her you have a fatal error here or this isn't working here. So we have 3 different programs that will flag things. And then in addition to that, once reports are run and completed, they're sent back to a human to review. So like at the campus level, certain reports at the campus level will go back. Is every single special ed student listed, signed that they are? This is what we come out with attendance. Is that match what you came out with attendance? Signed that they did. District reports, Ms. Price reviews, you know, all of those and make sure that it's matched up. And then, of course, there's that safety net that it can't be uploaded if there's any what they call fatal errors. And Ms. Bettis does a great job in making sure that all errors are corrected so that we can do our submission. As far as I know, Mrs. Price and Mrs. Bettis worked together, and the final summer PIMS report was submitted last week, because I have to go in there and approve it, and we're good, you know.
And the snapshot that happens at the end of October, is that the snapshot for to determine what our reimbursement or our revenues is for the ADA? Is that, there's a snapshot that happens in October prior to our performance?
Yeah, and so, but I think that, and when we were doing my goals, we talked about this one. So,
Is that enrollment for sports?
so no, it has to do with ADA. So remember when this year we realized that we were gonna be short some money because we calculated that our ADA was gonna be here, but it was actually here. So when you're calculating that ADA to use for budget, that's based off those 6 weeks. So the snapshot.
So that's at April.
So the fall snapshot is, there's several pieces of data in there, but on the financial side, we're submitting our budget data, and then we're also submitting a lot of coding. For example, we make sure that all of our staff are coded with that code that TA is looking for, especially this coming year for the teachers that are gonna get funded the new pass-through amount for the salary increase. So that is critical there, and I know the ladies are receiving updates constantly, and we know that's a focus, so that's snapshot date. The actual ADA, we have to wait for it to become actual. So towards the end of the school year, when we have more data of children attendance, then, and we're constantly updating that template also, that's why we bring budget amendments throughout the year. But the snapshot is more for different types of indicators like coding. What else do we have in fall? Can you think of?
They do use snapshot for realignment of UI numbers. They use
Yes.
the numbers.
Special ed's a big one where money can be falling out, maternity, all
Yes.
that.
And it's also for accountability purposes.
Yeah.
So like if a student is not special ed on snapshot date of October, they don't count as special ed for accountability that happens in March and April. So that's why they're always like, okay, look, if a student wasn't enrolled on snapshot date in October and they come to us November 1st, okay, and they take the test in March and pass, okay, even though they were with us from November 1st through the end of the year, that passer doesn't count for us because he wasn't with us on snapshot date.
Right.
So that's how they collect also on the October snapshot date collects our cohort of kids that are gonna count for accountability. On that day, whoever was special ed will count for special ed. Whoever was enrolled in our third grade class, that's who's gonna count for our percentage. So like when we get our data and it says, 88% of our kids passed, we may have had 40 kids, but out of those 40, only 36 counted for us because 4 other kids were not with us on snapshot date.
Snapshot is more than to find staff, children coding on a certain way. Then around this time, we submit the actual data. How many kids really were enrolled, really were present at the end of summer for the fiscal year. Then our funding, our 24-25 funding will not be final until September. Yeah, that's why it's, because the data is rolling and the actual data isn't loaded by TA to the final summary finances. September, we know where we really stand in 24-25. And even though we just had an audit, we do the best to calculate and estimate. The auditors and I and CS.
That summer piece though is exactly what you're
That's
talking about, why
actual.
it's so important, because that's where your funding is gonna come from.
Right.
Thank you.
I got one deal, so looking at the administrations, our projected enrollment's gonna be 509.
And that's based on where we finished.
Where we finished? I mean, 509 is better than 400 or something.
Yeah.
That's
So,
good.
well, it's not good, but it's better
Better than 400.
we didn't fall under 500. And usually, the end of the year is a little lower, and then they'll come back. Or like, we'll see some growth.
And then just, Mr. Solis, I don't know, you probably already aware of it, but I was moving some mini fridges and microwaves out of the intermediate building there yesterday. There's a big air handler. It looks like it's about to come out of the ceiling and a pretty good water spot. I don't know if it was from the rain or.
It's for the rain, yeah, and we're expecting the roofing company to take a look at it next week.
Yeah, but they're pretty bad.
We also believe that our elementary was struck by lightning. So,
And very well could be.
one of the days of the lightning, the bad storm, I don't know exactly what happened, but they have found several outlets in Powell that are like now burnt black and stuff like that, so.
We had the same issue with the workforce station.
I had to
Three,
replace my computers.
We had 3 HVACs that we replaced the switches on it, so we repaired more so. I'm thinking it was the lightning, the surge, power surges.
As old as that building is, do you know if it's grounded?
I mean, I know work has been done in the past years, but I'm not sure.
Well, that too. Okay.
All right. Anybody else on the floor? Moving down front.
Just one last question, since we're on maintenance, we did have a maintenance plan done last year, right? Assessment,
So not done last year,
the year
the year before. So it's the facilities assessment.
the facilities.
And that facilities assessment is the one that we basically keep wanting to try to go back to say, okay, let's start checking some things off, okay? But what's happening is then we end up like we had said we wanted to do, we had an HVAC plan, and we had, I think we did HVAC and electrical as our 2 top priorities. And that was what we were gonna do with some of our additional funding that we had received. And then some funding issues changed, and so then we took that money back. And so we continue to work more on a as-needed day-to-day. But I do have Mr. Solis currently working on an HVAC plan specifically. So I asked him to prioritize HVAC, where we need to start, what needs to be replaced, and then put a cost to it. So that way we can, because HVAC continues to be probably our biggest issue.
Moving on to item 5, action items, which we don't have here.
We don't, so 5A is the code of conduct, and I don't have a recommendation because we're pending the verbiage from TASB that needs to go in the student code of conduct. So the handbooks are not board approved, but they are brought to the board for information, but the code of conduct is board approved. So that one, we have to wait for the policy to go into the code of conduct, and we'll bring that one in August.
5B.
So 5B is in regards to the district textbook and instructional materials. I've asked Ms. Price to share with y'all our instructional materials that we will be utilizing for the 25-26 school year.
So you should have a copy of the document that was included in the board packet. And basically the process, there was a process to it. It did start in the spring with I sent team leaders and department heads a Google document where they listed materials. They got with their teams and other teachers that they work with and listed materials, resources, adoptions that they were using and that they included what they would like to continue to use. And then also, there was a place in there to share concerns of what they are currently using, if they like it or didn't like it, what they did or didn't like about it. Then in the spring, that was all done through Google document. And then through the spring, I met with the grade levels and the teams to discuss what they had put on those, because then what I did was created this document based on what they had sent in to me. And then we kind of just weeded through and looked at it to where at the end of the year they did what's called a needs and wants list that goes into the budgetary process. And part of that process is looking at the usage of the programs, reviewing the usage with tech and Ms. Diaz to determine if the program that we're paying for is actually being used. And then of course there's an approval of the supplemental materials that we pay for. And that basically goes through the summer to where the expenses, what are we gonna use, what are we gonna buy. So basically this document is our adopted materials from the state as well as some other supplemental materials that the teachers have continued wanting to use. And it includes software, computer programs, textbooks, consumables, but those are the companies and the resources that they have recommended or requested that they would like to continue to use. Questions, concerns?
I think this year is our second year that we've really narrowed down our resources, okay? And so in order to align and ensure that we have that vertical and horizontal alignment, we don't want someone using one thing and someone using another thing. We want to see what's the best thing, okay? And then make sure that second grade teachers are using this, third grade teachers are using this. So there's been a lot of work in the last 2 years done to the instructional materials. Michael assisted with the purchase of ClassLink, which is a single sign-on program, which allows us to track usage. So when a teacher says, oh, I really want this program, we log in, we see, let's see how long you used it. Well, you had 5 logins all year. And it costs X amount of dollars. So this year we're gonna have to do away with that. So we looked at usage, we looked at teacher recommendation, and like I said, the goal is to really just kind of fine tune the curriculum and the resources that we use. Thank you, Mrs. Price. So go ahead, you can read the recommendation.
So it is the administrative recommendation to approve the instructional materials for 2025-2026 as presented.
Do I have a recommendation to accept the administrative recommendation?
I make a recommendation to accept.
Claudia makes a recommendation.
I second it.
Memo seconds. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous. 5C.
5C is very similar. Every year, we are required to bring the professional development plan to the board for approval. Mrs. Price takes the lead role in planning for professional development and securing presenters and topics. I know, I'm sorry that it's sideways on when you open it, but this is our PD plan, so she'll share a little bit about it with you. Some of it is, it's just, we have to have a written PD plan of how we implement PD, and then there's a chart showing the PD that will be provided. So, Ms. Price, I'm going to give just a short overview.
So basically, the professional development plan, the things that are included in there, it gives the Brackett ISD purpose, which includes the standards developed by the district, what it's designed for to improve education in the district, to incorporate proactive and effective instructional techniques, improve staff members' knowledge and skills, assist staff in responding to instructional barriers, and implement appropriate accommodation supports and challenges of students. It is also a means to develop and implement rigorous, aligned, and data-driven curriculum, incorporate collaboration and consistency within the district. So that is what the purpose of professional development, how it's stated in the plan. Basically, again, this is a process where district advisory was presented with some information and to get some collaboration, recommendations, requests, and of course help with implementation suggestions. This included the teachers, the paras, admin, community, and other staff members. Another part of the development plan talks about T-test evaluations, which is to reflect the usage, strategies, programs, systems given during PD. The plan includes methods of presentation, state-required professional development, which gives an explanation, expectations, and procedures. It talks about our PD portfolio management and eduphoria, which is where the staff is responsible for keeping up with their PD certificates, hours, and requirements for their certifications. District provides the platform for that, which is eduphoria. It also includes attendance requirements and the conduct of our staff during professional development. It goes over GT, advanced education, and reading academies, which are also required PD for our teachers. District campus course information, how they are given credit, content expectations, attendance sheets, and then talks about the PD schedule and calendar. The last page is the actual PD schedule for back to school. It does include, of course, our new teacher orientation, our convocation day. We are having a Renaissance Learning Rotation Day. Renaissance is a company that we use for some instructional materials, diagnostics, so they're going to come present to our teachers. Stronger Connections Day, we have our 7 mindsets, which goes along with our Stronger Connections grant. We have a presenter coming. It's basically a district initiative that's going to help support our social and emotional strategies and supporting our students with that mental health. We do have a special education half a day where our cluster leader does come and I work with her on presenting some PD for our teachers, which also includes procedures and all other special programs, special ed, 504, all of our special programs. We have another day that we're going to have another program come, which is called iReady, which is for our K through 5 program. We're also going to have some rotations on that day as well. We have a full day of mental health first aid where we have presenters coming from MHDD, which hopefully they're out of Kerrville, so hopefully everything will be calmed down where their presenters will still be able to come for that day. But they're going to come do a full day of mental health first aid, which is a requirement of all of our staff. And then some of the other things that are included is teacher planning, teacher work days. We have a child nutrition short presentation for that, and then we have a benefits presentation as well, and a sign-up day for our staff. So this kind of gives a brief overview. We're still tweaking and finalizing and making sure we include everybody on every day and assignments and all of that, but this kind of gives you an overview of what our PD is going to look like and our PD plan. Questions, concerns, anything I can answer?
Recommendation first. Sorry, the recommendation first.
Oh, sorry. It is in the administration recommendation to approve the professional development, plan for 25-26 school year as presented.
Do I have a recommendation to accept the administrative recommendation?
I'll make that recommendation.
Matt makes a recommendation.
And second.
Memo seconds. Any discussion? I have one question. I was just curious, what is the parental conference on Saturday?
So, that is new this year, okay, and we're actually changing the date. So it literally, my counselors would like to put on a parental conference. So kind of the way we go to SLI and we get to pick sessions to go to. The goal was to provide a parent conference where parents could come and attend different sessions. You want to go learn about how to do parent ascender. There's a session for you. You want to go learn about how to help your child be a better reader. You want to help your teenager make, good. Yes, so today we had our first meeting and we brainstormed about 10 different topics. Our Stronger Connections counselor, Ms. Bena, is getting some outside people to come in as well. The only thing is that date didn't work, so we're looking at doing it October 4th, okay? And calling it like falling back into school. So now that we're 6 weeks in, and you kind of got a groove, by then the first 6 weeks is over. So again, if your child is failing, what can you do? So just different school people putting on different mini sessions, and parents can choose from a list of things to be able to attend. So it'll be our first one, and we hope to do one in the fall and one in the spring, and we hope to make it an annual.
That's an awesome idea.
I do have a comment.
Okay.
Actually, a couple. I'm very excited to see what this year brings for all the support when it comes to our kids' mental health. That's very, very important. That drives me to make sure that we're supported. So I'm excited to see those programs implemented. How are you going to advertise for the October? Is it just go to parents to get to decide? Are we going to be on it for letting them know what's available?
Yes, so we talked about it today in our meeting, and so we agreed that we want it to be a huge success. So like every single one of them are like, we want this to be huge. We want parents to be knocking on the door. We want community members, grandparents. How do I help? So we're going to create a flyer. The flyer, we're hoping to run it in the Kinney County Post, okay? Maybe 2-3 weeks, ahead of time. So if you missed it 1 week, you'll see it the next week. Of course, like always, Facebook, our webpage, and then we will do Dojo and Remind and School Messenger and put it up on the marquee. And so just kind of have it as a running thing. But our first, step one is to create the flyer. So once that flyer is created, you just want to put it out everywhere. Maybe put a flyer out at the library, at the post office, just after they're really wanting for this to be a big event.
Good. I look forward to it.
I think it's going to be great.
All those in favor? Passes unanimous. 5D.
Okay, so we brought this good cause exemption to you in springtime, and we have to bring it to you every year. And basically, this is the resolution that says, because of the size of our district, the board accepts that we not have an armed officer at every campus. So TEA states you should have one at every campus unless you have a good cause resolution. So we have attached the resolution. As per the Texas Education Agency and our district vulnerability audit, the ISD is required to have a good cause exemption regarding the number of armed officers on each campus. I am interviewing for the officer position next week. We've got about 6 applicants, so I'm excited. It took a while for that to kind of get going, but it finally did, and we've got 6 applicants to interview. And then I did have a meeting also with Sheriff Coe, and he also stated it at the safety meeting that even though we're going to have our own armed officer, his plan is to still keep the 2 assigned officers, the 2 assigned deputies to us. But this good cause exemption really allows us, if for some reason those 2 officers are pulled off campus, we're still okay in the eyes of TEA because we have a resolution that says we may not have 1 per campus at all times. So it is the recommendation of the administration to approve the good cause exemption resolution as presented.
Do I have a motion to accept the administrative recommendation with the date change to the 24th instead of the 14th?
Oh, yes, thank you.
Make a motion to accept it.
Memo, Matt, any discussion?
I just have one question. We're gonna hire one or two?
We're hiring one.
And that one person, man or woman, is gonna be
All, for
on all the time, armed.
We advertised it as armed/unarmed. So we advertised it as either or, depending on who applied and was the better fit. I'm hoping that it's someone who is armed.
Certified.
Yes.
Certified police officer.
And if they're not, they can be certified through our guardian program if we have them go through the guardian program.
Okay, so it's not like they need to have judo or karate background.
No.
And you don't have a weapon.
Well, if you're level 2, you can carry a taser and something else, so your level 3 is when you're.
All right.
All those in favor? Unanimous. 5E.
5E is our annual adjunct agreement for the 4-H extension. So the State Board of Education passed an amendment to 19 TAC Section 129.21. Requirements for students' attendance accounting for state funding allows public school students to be considered in attendance when participating in off-campus activities with adjunct staff members of the school district. Uvalde County requests the extension personnel listed on the adjunct faculty agreement to be awarded adjunct faculty staff member status for the period of time indicated on the agreement. Extension personnel as ISD adjunct faculty members will only supervise and be responsible for Texas 4-H members of the district. So basically, when the kids are out of town with the 4-H sponsor, the 4-H person acts as an adjunct, so they're still counted present. So this allows our students to be counted present when they are with the adjunct professor. So the adjunct faculty request lists, no, if you look at the last page, it's Noelle Troxclair, Melina Flores, and Jennifer Barnett. So we are it is the recommendation of the administration to accept the adjunct agreement as presented.
Do I have a motion to accept the administrative recommendation?
I make a motion.
Claudia makes a motion. I'll second. Any discussion? All in favor? Passes unanimous. 5F.
So we always have two of these. We have the one from Uvalde, and then we have the one from Kinney County. So I asked Missy Lyons to put both of them on there. However, we didn't get the one from Kinney County back, so I don't have it yet. So I'll be moving this one forward to the August meeting.
Should be read out.
Yes.
Okay, 5G.
Amaria, any budget, no budget,
No,
amendments?
no,
Budget amendments, moving on to item 6A.
No budget, expense, and revenue comparison, and then 6B is the check run. And that's really the business and finance reports, right? So
Well, the budget expense and revenue, we don't have one for June because we were being audited for year end, so we still were pending finalizing the fiscal year. So I guess the audit would be kind of a new with that, and then the other was the check run.
do they approve, because this is one of those that business and finance was with all the reports under consent agenda, then we took the reports and put them in information, but those we still need to have under action, right? We have to take action, or do that need to be moved to information?
Well, we were going to, we separated them so they could be reviewed individually, but they don't require
They don't require action. Okay, so no action.
just any questions or discussion really.
Everybody good? Moving on, number 7.
So 7 is basically the dates of all our updates, our upcoming and past events. So we did have our sheriff safety meeting on July the 3rd. We also had TEA come and do a tabletop training for our admin team. And so basically, it was a first experience for many of us. But they come in and they present a scenario to us. So they're like, the secretary calls and they have been notified that there is a person with a gun in hallway D3. Go, what do? You know, and so we went through that part, and then they talked us through it and what could have been done differently. So it was an excellent training. We all learned a lot. My campus administrators were there, district administrators were there, and we even had two of our district secretaries there, because it was who's going to send out the notice, who's going to let parents know that we're in a lockdown. So every little step was covered, and any steps that we missed were brought to our attention if we missed something or didn't do something that they felt was in line with how we should be appropriately handling the situation. Then they would give us that scenario and then say the situation has changed. At 4:18 or 3:18, you get a notice that there's a bomb threat at the high school, you know, and so what do you do next? So it was a great training. We definitely learned a lot. So we had that on July 8th. Our counseling team went to the Stronger Connections training at Region 20. And then we had our district advisory committee yesterday, which was also a very productive meeting. We're working on finalizing the district improvement plan. So then that district improvement plan is shared with the campus principals, and then they develop their campus improvement plan and how they're going to support the district goals. 7B starts our upcoming events, which is our substitute orientation is next week. We bring on new teacher orientation already next week. And then we'll kick off convocation on August 4th. You are all invited to convocation. This year we're going to do it a little different. Last year I invited community leaders and board members if they wanted to address the staff to come in the morning. This time we're going to do it at the end. Okay? So, and literally it's a brief thank you, welcome. Some of them got a little long last year, and no, not you. Some of them got a little long last year, and we were expecting it to be like 1 minute, 2 minutes a piece, and it turned into 15, 20 minutes a piece. So it's basically just if you want to come welcome our staff back, thank them for, their commitment to our district and wish them well, introduce yourself. You're more than welcome, and that would be, I think we said 3 o'clock, Ms. Price, is that correct? So 3 o'clock at the Civic Center on August 4th.
That's when it starts, that's when it ends.
That's when it ends, so I'm putting y'all at the end. so that if y'all talk too much, you're gonna get the glares from them, because they're gonna be ready to go. Then we'll have a Parent Code of Conduct night on August 6th, and that really is still pretty tentative, okay? And the reason it's tentative is because we are waiting on the official wording on different policies, but we want to make sure that we have a night where we can have parents come in, we can go over the code of conduct with them and answer any questions that they may have. So we're hoping that we have everything finalized and with the stamp of approval from TEA and TASB, and then we can put that out on the 6th. BISD, our next board meeting will be on the 11th, and then the first day of school is here on Monday, August 18th. And that is all I have for today.
One alibi on upcoming events, they are doing active shooter threat here at the school next week, so you will see a bunch of law enforcement work patrol vehicles, so if y'all do any calls about it, it is training, there's nothing.
And we'll put something out. Tell me do you remember what day it's at? I can call
Started Monday.
Prepping on Monday, training will be Tuesday through Friday.
Okay.
And with that, at 8:48 p.m., meeting is adjourned. Sorry.